CEO of 11 Online, a full-service digital agency in Albuquerque, New Mexico. He and his team build, fix, and maintain websites for their clients. And his team recently launched Block Party, a Gutenberg block membership site. He's here to talk about Gutenberg. Welcome, Alonso.
Okay, so yeah, I'm here to talk about Gutenberg, and I hope you guys have had a chance to talk or to listen to the various talks here at this camp about Gutenberg. It's the first camp that, yes, I think it's the first camp that I've been to that there have been multiple talks about Gutenberg from different perspectives, so it's actually really awesome, great. Two that I saw yesterday that I wanted to highlight, and once they're online, you guys should definitely check out. One is a talk with Michelle Schultz. She talked about sort of kind of history of the way WordPress has changed, sort of content management, content entry paradigm, and also sort of approaching it more from a design perspective. It's excellent, and she has a lot of great things to say, and a lot of interesting things to say. So I would encourage you to check her talk out when it goes online. And then also my business partner, Eric Davalak, if you're a developer and you're interested in doing really neat things with Gutenberg, you should definitely catch his talk online. There is a lot of code that is thrown at you, but if you're a developer, you like that stuff. So what I'm going to talk about is what I feel is neat and empowering about WordPress for end users, but also for professionals. And I'm going to focus a lot on the entrepreneurial opportunities that I see. So if you're an entrepreneur or a budding entrepreneur, this talk is for you for sure. And by the way, it's I assure you, if you guys have ever seen Clerks, that may be familiar. So feel free to text me questions during my presentation. I'll try to answer them at the end of the presentation, but they're going to be on all the slides in the corner too. So, but just I know sometimes people are shy and don't like getting up in front of big crowds, and so that's just another way to ask me some questions. During the presentation, I'll try and answer all of them at the end. Again, about me, just a little bit. I'm the CEO of 11 Online. Started that in 2017. 11 Online started in 2014. I started being the CEO in 2017. Myself and the team started Block Party, which you can definitely check out. We're going to be doing some things actually today. We're going to be putting together a free version of our blocks, so you can play around with that. I've been working with WordPress since 2015, which compared to a lot of people I know isn't a long time. Feels like a long time for me. And like I said, I don't, like it's on there, I don't actually write a ton of code these days, and again, probably good for the world, but it's still a really important part of our business. That's how we got started. And this ecosystem is really awesome, and there are a lot of opportunities in it. So I don't want to bore you with this stuff because at this point I hope you know more or less what Gutenberg is, but if not, just a brief overview. It's supposed to be the new WordPress editor as a 5.0. I'm going to stop anyone asking me when 5.0 is going to come out. I don't know. I don't have special insight or special friends that let me know these things. And I think even if I did, they would have been wrong at least twice at this stage. But the idea here is it's certainly much more of what you see is what you get experience. The paradigm for content is blocks. You install Gutenberg right now as a plugin. I'm sure you guys have seen the new editor alert thing, right? And most people are like, I don't know what this is, dismiss. But yeah, I'm sure you've seen that, and it comes, if you install it and activate it, it comes with some very simple blocks. But what's really, really cool is that you can use third-party build custom blocks. And yes, there's a ton of implementation controversy. There's a ton of controversy over how it was sort of devised or how it was proposed and how it's going to be merged in core, if it should be merged in the core. There's classic press. I don't know, if you guys have, you can follow online in the echo chamber, outrage sort of chamber online. You can follow all that stuff. And I'm not really going to talk about that stuff, just a heads up. That's a different talk. Okay, so I'm going to try and do a demo. And these are the way that my demos usually go. I found a Sacramento King doing the alley-oop to himself. It didn't really play out there. Okay. So if you guys install Gutenberg, there's going to be like a demo post, kind of show you what it's capable of doing, right? And this is what you're going to see. You're going to see a title with a permalink. You're going to see some document options, right? And then you can go into the different blocks, and you'll see some block options, and you'll be able to, live edit and so forth. And you got your pretty standard, paragraph blocks, heading blocks, right? This is an H2. You got image blocks. Again, if you play around with this, there's a list block. If you play around with this, I think you probably have some sense of what it's going to be like for people that don't either build new blocks, custom blocks, or install plugins to add blocks. But these are the really basic content creation blocks, right? So we're going to forget about all that because I'm sure that's been covered at this camp, and I'm sure you can figure all that stuff out on your own. What I wanted to show you guys is the possibilities. January of this year, I was the lead organizer of WordCamp, speakers, a lot of local speakers, speakers from out of town. And, when I was there, I heard a lot of talks about Gutenberg. I knew about Gutenberg. I played around with it a little bit. But myself and the guys at the company, we decided that we really need to look at this a lot closer. We started trying out building some blocks. At the time, Gutenberg, was it 2.0 out? I don't even think 2.0 was out. And so it was really rough. And we had to figure out a lot of stuff on our own. A lot of hacky this and that. But we started playing around with it. And I think the special insight that we got was we were able to do some really, really neat things from a content creation perspective and creating rich content perspective. So I wanted to show you a little bit of that. And so the use case that I was thinking about was, I'm a sports guy. I like to say I'm a sports Catholic. So a lot of suffering and guilt. I follow sports. I read a lot of blogs. I read a lot of articles and things like that. I'm also a big nerd, so I like a lot of data, a lot of statistics and comparisons and so forth. And so one of the things that I noticed reading these blogs is that a lot of times the data visualizations were really sort of poor or amateur or really sort of slapdash because it's hard to make good data visualizations, right? And so one of the ideas we had was, hey, let's build some data visualization blocks to see what we could do with Gutenberg. So I made a baseball Ipsum dummy blog post, and so this is one of the blocks that we've been messing around with. It's called Pie Chart, and so right here we can assign the title, and we can assign names, values. We can color the pie chart slice. I've got a lot of interesting options there. And then, I don't know. Now I think it's another reason you would be a Met fan. I don't know.
Nothing better.
Nothing better? That's good. I'll take that. I think that's patently untrue because if you wanted to root for a winner, there's a team in a different borough.
Yeah.
Oh wait, yeah. Hey, by the way, still working out bugs and stuff. Anyway, so and then you can add slices and stuff like that, and then you get a live preview here. So then I can update, and over here on the front end, we have this beautiful pie chart, and you can see kind of what it looks like, and it's very dynamic and interactive. Also wanted to show you a couple of other things, right? The block options, you can position the legend in different places. You know, hey, you can make it 3D. You can play around with how it's rotated, right, and so forth, right? You can add a donut hole. So there's lots of different kinds of options. You can explode a slice over here. And a lot of cool things you can do with it, and anyone can use it. You can style it. You can style it with some additional CSS classes. You can do some neat things there, and what you have is something that is very dynamic, and it's not custom for. It's not. It's a block that one could download, install, plug in, have that block to reuse over and over and over again if you really wanted to show visualizations in pie chart. And one of the things we're working on in the future is a CSV upload. Right? So you upload a CSV, and then magically all that content's in there, and it's visualized. So there's a lot of possibilities. There's a lot of possibilities, and this is a Gutenberg block. This is a custom Gutenberg block. I want to show you some other stuff here, a little more nerdery. Here's a line chart block that we made. Again, names, values. You can label the X and Y axis, and you get a live preview, right? So 2015, we went to the World Series. 2016, we lost in the one-game playoff. 2017, we fell off a cliff. 2018, we're not making the playoffs. That's I think there's like 20-some games left. So anyway, but you can add. So you can add grid lines. You can change the formats. You can change the orientation to vertical if you wanted to. You can make the lines curve or not. You can set an area. You can add like points and change the point size, right? So you can really do and change the point shape. There's lots of options here. You can make the lines dash, and then of course, like I said, you can style it lots of different ways and tweak it whatever way you want. Again, and then what it looks like, what it looks like on the front end. There we go. And as you're changing options, you'll see a live preview, and it pretty much is what you see is what you get, right? And so again, for this one, we're also wanting to do CSV upload, multiple lines, etc. So there's a lot to do. This is just us kind of starting and sort of imagining some data visualization use cases. We also wanted to experiment with certain other kinds of UI, right, like carousels, right? So I will be frank with you, I hate carousels. It just as web UI, maybe it's just that I've made too many, or whatever it is. But I don't really like this as a UI. But I know people like it, and I know people use it, and so we were thinking, okay, well, what, can we make a really simple carousel, block with Gutenberg? Right? And so this is what it looks like. You can add slides. Let me see if I got the slide I can add. Ooh, creepy picture of me. And then you can select the color for the text. And so what's neat is I can add a caption. I can add let's see. And then I can add something else here. whatever. Anyway, and so I get I get a live preview again, and then I have the block. I have the block settings, so I can show an indicator or not. I can show an image caption or a description. I can do like I can do opacity for some of the text backdrops. I can change the interval for autoplay, etc. Right? And honestly, if you need a simple carousel, and I don't have images that are exactly, obviously you have to have similar size images to make it look great. I think it's honestly, I think it's the easiest way to make a carousel in WordPress. And there's so many carousel plugins where you have so many options. There's this complicated thing. You have to do all this work to kind of even figure out what it's going to look like. So it's a pretty simple deal there, right? And Daryl Strawberry's real sad. Love that guy when I was a kid. He's amazing, and we'll figure out how to screw him up. I'm not sure yet how, but we'll figure it out. Another one I want to show you is the pop-up. Okay, so the pop-up, you can do, you can set the button text, you can give the pop-up a title, you can add nested content in the pop-up, so I have a video in there, right? And then you can make, and then as far as the block settings, the pop-up settings, you can make it different sizes, you can change the animation, it's kind of neat, and you get a preview. Right, so anyway, you can change the colors, you can round the corners, you get a little preview here at the bottom too. And what does this look like right now? Like that. And I'm not going to show this clip because it's SNY will sue me, I guess, I don't know. But Mets have only had one no-hitter, Johan Santana. Of course, after that no-hitter, his arm fell off basically. He threw 130 pitches because the Mets had never had a no-hitter. And then, didn't have a great season after that. In classic Mets fashion. So, last couple things I want to show you. We did this really simple statistic block, right? So you guys are probably familiar with this UI, right? 10 cups of coffee consumed, 10 developers, 1,000 lines of code. I don't know. Again, not a UI I especially love, but just something that we've seen over and over and over again with lots of different websites. So it's pretty simple. You put in whatever you want, numbers. I wish. And then appearances. Okay, and then you can color them. You can set up a count of animation. You can set a separator, right? Let's see what else. Yeah, that's roughly about it. And I'm gonna refresh so you guys can see and we have it so it's we have it so that when you scroll to the element, you see the count of animation, right? Okay. We also have an accordion. Anyway, you get the drill, right? You get the idea. So this is what the accordion looks like, right? Again, just comment, right? How many of you guys have put an accordion in your page content? How hard or easy? I just don't know because I rarely do these things. But is it easy? Anyone? Easy. Easy? Easy-ish? What? Yeah. What? Sorry.
It's easy, but it's a real pain to explain to the client where to go to edit their content.
Yeah, right. So maybe if it was just in the content and you could just kind of live edit and change things around, maybe that'd be a better experience for the client potentially. So maybe another point here I want to make is why am I showing you this stuff? Is because I don't think most people have seen this kind of stuff when it comes to Gutenberg. The possibilities with this. And I think you could probably imagine maybe my client would really like that experience, creating rich content in that way. Instead of a bunch of plugins, a bunch of different formats, input formats, just have something kind of clean. Now these are just proofs of concept in some ways, but just to give you an idea that this is the sort of thing that you're going to be seeing here in the next year. You're going to be seeing lots of people creating lots of really rich blocks that have a much better sort of content input experience. Okay. So, hey, I think I managed to alley-oop it to myself. Yeah, I dunked it. Just imagine a dunk. Okay, so, talk a little bit about the benefits for content creators. Now look, anyone can make a block that's not what you see is what you get. That's just a bad block. But the idea here is that you can make blocks, and you can make them what you see is what you get, and they're in the editor finally. If you go to TinyMC documentation, it says it's a what you see is what. Is it what you see is what you get, guys? I don't know. In your experience, the current editor is what you input and what you see, what you get. I think generally the answer is no. Now there are things you can do to make it more or less or whatever, but that's been my experience, and so it's possible to actually have real what you see is what you get. And these custom blocks allow you to create content that's either difficult or impossible, like allow what I call civilians, end users, content managers, right, to actually create content that's very difficult to create otherwise. Now this is like the thing about people always ask me, well, what about page builders? Will they work with page builders? I almost never work with page builders. We have some sites that we maintain that were built with page builders. They mostly aggravate me because when you have to you want to run security patches and you have to update things, then I have to figure out how to make X page builder compatible. It's just, I don't like, we don't use page builders, and we're more custom meta box when we build for clients. But so the answer to, I'm going to anticipate the question, is Gutenberg going to work with my page builder of choice? I have no idea. You should definitely talk to people or just go online. They're probably thinking about it. If they're smart, they're thinking about it. Can Gutenberg can the new editor become a replacement for a lot of these page builders? I think that's the plan in the roadmap, to add more kind of page builder type elements, but it's certainly not there yet. What you can do with Beaver Builder and other, I shouldn't have even said it. I don't want to plug in page builder, but whatever page builders are sponsoring with, Fullgrid, for example. So they're capable of doing a lot more. This Gutenberg is far from a page builder replacement, certainly at this stage. But the interesting thing for me is that if this project sort of progresses along the roadmap, it could be a page builder that has a unified UI and UX, and you don't have to install these like third-party dependencies, third-party page builders. So it could be nice. And again, the roadmap, there's a link to the roadmap there. If you just type in Gutenberg rollout plan or Gutenberg roadmap, you'll get a sense. The changes for software developers. Again, developers in the WordPress space. They're like, React, right? Because they're PHP guys for the most part. PHP guys and gals. I work with developers all the time. My partners, all three of them, are developers. And if you're not learning, you're dying. That's what I keep telling them. I think there are, and it's not, I think sometimes people have come to me and they say, well, it's just React or it's JavaScript because that's the new stuff. Well, it is very, very difficult to do what I just demoed and create these blocks that have this like dynamic user experience without using JavaScript. So, if your developers or the people you work with aren't going to learn, you may think about finding people that will. And you may think about people that are going to be able to build the user experience that you want when you're inputting content. Again, the theme development, like we do theme development, or we did theme development a certain way, and we're changing the way we're doing theme development. And you can have templates of blocks with pre-populated content. There's a lot of really neat things, and I'm not exactly sure how theme development is going to change, but I know it will. I know it will when this product is kind of embraced across the community. Okay, and I said I was going to talk about the implementation and the support process. I know a lot of you guys maintain websites, right? That's part of your business, right? You got that big server that hosts like 50 websites, and everyone pays you 100, 200, 300 bucks a month to run updates and be there in case something happens. I know we do the same thing. We got the same thing going on. And so, the question is, okay, when 5.0 happens, what's going to happen to all these sites that are built with custom meta boxes or page builders? And, if you came to this talk to want to know what the strategy is there, install classic editor if you don't want to deal with it right now. But I think you're going to have to deal with it right now. And it's sort of the responsibility of maintaining sites. Is sort of dealing with these problems, and I think right now is when you need to have contingency plans and come up with a strategy that was going to work for you and your maintenance business. And there are lots of strategies. I'm not going to say one's better than the other. Again, I think probably the easiest thing you do is install Classic Editor on all of your sites that you're worried about. Just keep it moving, but for us, I know that we're going to be working to make sure that those sites are running the latest and the greatest as much as we can, and keeping our clients secure and so forth.
Can you back up to the previous slide that had the recurrent link on it? Thank you.
Sure thing. Got it? Cool. There's going to be tremendous opportunities to build custom blocks, which I'm really excited about for developers. That counts as money.
Well, hey.
Opportunities, because there are. And really, this is kind of the crux of my talk for entrepreneurs. So who here is an entrepreneur or runs a business that involves WordPress? Okay, all right, fair amount of you guys. Guys, this is the biggest WordPress ecosystem disruption, arguably, ever. Okay? Maybe custom post types were a big deal. There's a lot of different things that have happened in this sort of history of WordPress, but this is a big deal. This is a big deal. And so I encourage you guys to think, like, what happens when there's a market that's disrupted? There are winners and there are losers. And so because of, if you can plan and you can take a look at what's coming and you can make plans, contingency plans, or you can be more aggressive and sort of embrace it and figure out where the opportunities are, I highly encourage you guys to do it. And yes, there is controversy. Go to the repo. The Gutenberg plugin has a low star rating. If you go and you see like articles of people complaining, there's classic press, and that's fine. And I'm not dismissing criticisms of Gutenberg. I have a lot of problems. Also, we've worked with it for like 8 months now, and yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of decisions that were made that I don't necessarily agree with, and so forth. But I'm the CEO of my company, and it's part of my job is to craft a strategic vision for my business going forward. And so I have to think about these things in a different way. I have to think about these things as this is a tremendous opportunity for us. We're a small shop in New Mexico, and we want to have clients all over the world, and we want to charge whatever we want. And we want to do the best work and charge whatever we want, right? Yeah, there we go. So my ambition is great, and so these disruptions and these opportunities, they don't come very often, and so what are we gonna do to position ourselves as best we can? Okay, let's brainstorm for like 2 minutes or 3 minutes. What are some opportunities for entrepreneurs with Gutenberg? Yes.
Installing the classic editor as a stopgap for people that are panicking, because usually panic equals upcharge.
Okay. Sure. Yeah.
But, it's like the day of, you can imagine people are going to be like, what's happening to my site?
I think my phone is probably going to go nuts. Day of, and not for sites that we maintain, for everyone else. Now, do I want that kind of business maybe at this stage? Maybe not. I don't know. But that's an opportunity. There's going to be a support and maintenance opportunity at launch. Sure. Okay. What else? Anyone else? Yes.
Educate your clients.
Education. Yeah, there's definitely going to be an educate. Like the new editor's going to be there. It's going to be a different way to create content. They're gonna be like, what is this? Right? So yeah, there's a great opportunity there. Hey, I'll walk you through it. Spend an hour with me. I'll walk you through it. I'll show you how to use it. Absolutely. That's a tremendous opportunity. Certainly. Anyone else? Any like entrepreneurs, software dev entrepreneurs here? No? Yeah? Okay. Yeah. No. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. Go ahead.
Creating the custom blocks.
Creating custom blocks, I think, is a tremendous opportunity. We've thought about setting up a block marketplace that other people can build blocks and sell them on our marketplace, kind of like the theme marketplace. So there's that. Yes. Go ahead.
I've also seen on ThemeForest, there's some like 1 or 2 or 3 themes that are now saying we are Gutenberg ready.
Gutenberg ready themes and Gutenberg friendly themes. Themes that package plugins that add blocks, right, to the experience. Definitely that. So, and I guess my other question is, why haven't more people done this? Is because right now there's a lot of people that are caught up in the controversy and are kind of waiting. Like, how is it going to play out? I just, from my standpoint, it's coming. And I think the smart people in the ecosystem are making, at the very minimum, contingency plans. And if they're being aggressive, they're positioning themselves to be on the right side of things. Okay, that's enough Batman thing. Okay, so final thing is, the question, why is my company so passionate about this stuff? We actually ask ourselves this all the time, because we don't just do WordPress work. We actually do, most of our revenue is from business solutions, custom web applications, mobile development, stuff like that. But we started in WordPress. But why are we still so passionate? Well, there's a couple of reasons. One, the community is awesome, right? The community is great. I've been in this community for how many years? People are really open, they're friendly, they're willing to share. I've been to other non-WordPress conferences that ain't like that. Let me just tell you. And so, from my standpoint, the community is awesome, and we've built relationships within the community over time, and that's awesome. The second thing is WordPress is a billions dollar ecosystem. Okay, it's an enormous ecosystem. Almost every other sort of customer software technology ecosystem is much smaller. So there are tremendous opportunities in this ecosystem for an entrepreneur. Still, and this disruption is very exciting from my standpoint. And then lastly, who is WordPress for? Because I think with the controversy, a lot of people forget about this stuff. Who is it for, right? It's for us, right? WordPress is for the people that are looking to empower themselves. Whether that's a content creator, whether that's a designer, it empowers. It's an empowering force, and I really like that about WordPress. And so, if we focus on creating better experiences for content creators, creating better opportunities for entrepreneurs. I don't think we can go wrong. So I think that's it for me. I'm going to answer some questions, and here's my information. There's the bit.ly link if you want to get the slides, the speaker deck link. Okay, I'm going to answer some questions that were sent to me by text. Is there a way to duplicate your website and remove the page builder? In my company's case, Visual Composer WP Bakery case is incompatible with the Gutenberg shift. Okay, one of my problems with page builders generally is the lack of portability, right? If you create all your content with a page builder, more often than not, it's very, very difficult to move that content over to something, another solution, and you're kind of locked in. Now, there are some page builders that are better than others for that, but so I don't know. I haven't worked with Visual Composer in a while. I don't know what the implications are. Is it one of those that's like shortcode based, right? Where the content is stored in shortcodes? Then you might have a tough time. But that's just a portability issue with a lot of the page builders. In case it's incompatible with the Gutenberg shift, look, if they're smart, they're going to be in a position to be ready for that. So I don't know, maybe hope that they're smart. And otherwise, you could do the classic editor and just punt it for a little bit, right? And see where that goes. Okay. Everybody has been saying to wait to install Gutenberg. Do you agree? Why not? Installing it on a production site where with like, it's live and people don't know how to really use it and so forth like that, I would discourage that. Installing it on a staging site, on a local site, on a site no one visits, and you're playing around, I absolutely 100% encourage. We're putting together a free version of the plugin, hopefully today. We gotta play it. I don't know. So we'll see what we can get done. We're gonna put together with Carousel, with some of the other ones, so you can just install it and try it out.
So where would you get it?
You could go to wpblock.party at some point later today or early in the week next week and check it out. And we'll put it on the repo too. We're going to put it on the repo pretty soon. So you just do a search on the repo in the next week. Okay, any other questions? Yes?
I'm just interested in one of the main focuses that we have is naturally SEO, but also speaking to site. The carousel, for instance. What would be the footprint difference between, say, kind of a custom block and building a plugin?
Great question. It depends on the plugin, but in my experience,
What was the question?
Sorry. Okay, so it's the question was from a footprint standpoint of loading times, SEO, and things like that. What's the comparison between, let's say, a Gutenberg carousel, like the one I demonstrated, and like a plugin-based carousel, right? Depends on the plugin, but I'm not going to pick on any specific carousel plugin, but there's that carousel plugin that you guys probably know. The Panama Papers one. That one. You know that. Look up Panama Papers WordPress slider and have fun. But yeah, so that one, I guarantee our blog carousel is more performant than that thing. Because there's so many options there are sliders that they have so many different options for every use case. And so when you just want a simple slider, do you really need that? Probably not. So I know that ours is certainly has less of a footprint from that standpoint, but it depends on it.
I could maybe answer that more fully, that most of what Gutenberg loads is in the admin. And all Gutenberg does is save HTML. So from a performance standpoint, it's actually typically much better because all you're doing is saving HTML in the content area. And your editor experience is loading all that JavaScript for the interactivity of interacting.
So there you go.
Okay, everybody. I think we're gonna have to cut the questions.
I'll be in the happiness bar if you
Yeah.
have more questions. Okay?
Go see him over